There are traps that are not set with ropes or chains, but with smiles, with familiarity, and with promises that sound very reasonable. If you are a Sagittarius, I want you to listen slowly, because tomorrow, December 16th, is not a random day in your destiny map. From an astrological perspective, this is a moment when two human energies intersect. One person knows exactly where you are strong, and another understands deeply what you believe in most. And it is this crossing of energies that makes the universe speak up now. In this video, I am not speaking to scare you. I am speaking so you can see the trap before it fully closes, so you can step out of it with the posture of a Sagittarius who is awake, free, and no longer driven by raw emotion. If you are a Sagittarius and you feel you are standing at an important turning point, leave a quiet confirmation below. I am aware. I choose truth. I protect my light. This is not just a sentence. It is a way to align yourself with the protective energy surrounding you right now. And the reason I feel compelled to say this to Sagittarius at this moment is because, on December 16th, the test does not come through events. It does not come through money. It comes through people. And if you have not yet realized who is standing where in this story, the next part will show you why Sagittarius is so often the one tested. Whenever your light begins to shine more strongly than usual. From my perspective, December 16th does not carry loud or violent energy on the surface. It is a very bright day, a kind of brightness that makes others see you more clearly than usual. And it is precisely this brightness that draws Sagittarius into the test. The sun is in your own sign, which means you are living more truthfully than ever. You speak what you believe. You walk forward, guided by faith. You do not hide your ideals, and you do not lower your head to please anyone. And the universe has an ironic way of responding to that. Whenever Sagittarius lives this authentically, the world around you begins to reflect something very clearly. Who is truly walking beside you, and who is only standing near your light for their own benefit. After observing thousands of natal charts over many years, I've noticed a very consistent pattern. Sagittarius is never tested when you shrink yourself. You are tested when you shine, when you become magnetic, when you are seen, when you say things that force others to question themselves. And December 16th is exactly that kind of day. Mercury is under tension now, not to destroy you, but to test your ability to discern truth. A tense Mercury often brings half-truths, carefully packaged information, conversations that seem harmless, yet quietly lead you toward a decision you are not fully prepared for. For Sagittarius, this is especially delicate, not because you lack intelligence, but because you tend to believe that if something is spoken sincerely, it must be true. Let me say this very clearly. Sagittarius is not harmed because you are naive. You are tested because you believe others live by truth the way you do. That is a beautiful quality, but it is not always safe. In the human world, houses 7 and 12 are both activated now. Two astrological spaces, deeply connected to relationships and to what remains hidden. House 7 speaks of those across from you, partners, friends, loved ones, people you trust. House 12 holds unspoken motives, unacknowledged intentions, and even fears people refuse to look at within themselves. When these two houses activate together, I often tell Sagittarius this: be mindful of relationships that feel familiar, close, and very reasonable, because not every trap is born from malice. Some traps are created from someone else's dishonesty with themselves, and that is what makes them harder to see. I want you to pause here for a moment and ask yourself quietly, has anyone recently said things to you that sounded very right, very logical, yet left you feeling slightly unsettled? Not fear, just a soft discomfort you couldn't quite name. If so, that is not your imagination. That is Sagittarius intuition doing its work. And the greatest lesson of December 16th is not learning to doubt people. It is learning to respect your own inner knowing. The world is not evil. People are not inherently bad, but not everyone is worthy of your full openness. Not everyone acts with bad intentions, but not everyone deserves your full honesty. Some people should only receive a limited version of you until they prove they are safe enough to step deeper into your inner world. And this is a deeply human lesson, because it does not teach you to close your heart. It teaches you to love yourself enough to stop placing yourself in situations that are unnecessary to endure. I have spoken with many Sagittarius souls after moments of betrayal, and the deepest pain was never what the other person did. The deepest pain was the self-blame, blaming yourself for trusting, for opening your heart, for believing that others valued truth the same way you do. And there is one thing I always tell them, and I want to tell you this now. You are not wrong for trusting people. You simply need to learn how to trust selectively. Maturity does not steal your innocence. It adds a layer of wisdom to protect your light. And if you are listening right now and feel your heart drop just a little, please know this. You are not alone in this experience. Many Sagittarius souls are walking through the same lesson at this exact moment. And if these words resonate with you, leave a small sign in the comments. Not for me, but for yourself. A quiet confirmation that you are ready to see the truth with calmer eyes. No longer rushing, no longer needing to prove anything to anyone. Because when Sagittarius no longer needs to prove, you become incredibly difficult to manipulate. And this is something not everyone is ready to face. When standing in front of you on December 16th, there is one more thing I want you to remember deeply. Challenges do not always arrive to hurt you. Sometimes they arrive to remove relationships that no longer match your evolving frequency. And when a relationship reveals dishonesty, precisely as you are growing, that is not punishment, that is release. In the next part, I will explain why I keep emphasizing that this trap does not come from just one person, because when you understand the role of each energy around you, you stop reacting emotionally and begin acting with clarity. And that is the moment Sagittarius reclaims control of your own story. There is something very subtle I want you to feel slowly in this part, because the trap Sagittarius faces right now does not look like danger. It does not shout. It does not threaten. It arrives softly, reasonably, at the perfect time. And that is exactly why it is so easy to step into without realizing you are being guided one step at a time. In esoteric wisdom, we often say this: not all control comes from power. Some control is created through information, and some control is completed through action. When these two energies work together, the trap becomes almost flawless. Not to harm you immediately, but to make you believe everything unfolding is your own choice. The first person appears in a very familiar role, the one who plants information. They do not ask you to do anything. They only share. They tell a story. They offer a perspective. They place inside your mind a possibility, a scenario, a worry, or even a hope. And they do it gently, with concern, with understanding, with the feeling that they are on your side. This energy carries the clear signature of Mercury, the planet of words, thoughts, information, and messages carried through language. And Sagittarius, as a lover of truth, you enjoy deep conversations, big ideas, understanding the essence of things. So you open yourself naturally to this kind of energy. You listen, you reflect, you connect the pieces, and without realizing it, from that moment on, a seed has been planted in your mind, not to bloom immediately, but to wait for the exact moment to be activated. The second person appears later, very naturally, very casually, at exactly the right time. They do not talk much. They do not analyze. They do not question. They bring action, a suggestion, a push, a situation that demands an immediate response. This energy carries the color of Mars, the planet of action, decision, pressure, and urgency. And what makes the trap dangerous is when the action of the second person, coincidentally, aligns perfectly with the information planted earlier. Suddenly, everything feels logical. You feel you have thought long enough. You believe you are acting from your own understanding. And that is the moment the trap closes quietly. No sound, no obvious signal, only a subtle feeling that you are moving faster than your natural pace. And I want you to remember this clearly. The most dangerous trap is not the one that scares you. It is the one that makes you believe you are deciding for yourself. I am not saying this to make you suspicious of everyone. I am saying this so you can understand your own natural rhythm more deeply. Sagittarius was never meant to rush. You are the zodiac of the long journey, of exploration, of truth that unfolds over time. Your most important decisions rarely come from pressure. They come from ripeness, from a very clear inner feeling that says, now is the moment. And when someone makes you choose quickly, answer immediately, or act before you've had time to listen to yourself, take that as a signal to pause, not to resist, not to argue, but to take a deep breath and quietly ask yourself, is this truly my rhythm? Because one of the greatest lessons Sagittarius learns in life is not how to move forward, but the right to pause, the right to say, I need more time, the right to not decide yet, even if others are uncomfortable. This does not make you weaker, it makes you far more free. I have seen many Sagittarius souls get hurt, not because they made the wrong decision, but because they made the decision too early, before the heart and intuition had time to agree with the mind. And every time that happens, you blame yourself. I should have slowed down. I should have trusted that first feeling. I should have listened to the silence. And if you are listening now and realize that recently someone has been pushing you, rushing you, making you afraid that if you don't act now, you'll lose the opportunity, I want you to know this clearly. There is no true opportunity meant for Sagittarius. That requires you to betray your own intuition. Your right path never begins in panic. It begins in clarity, quiet. I'm steady, still. And this is one of the deepest human values. This phase is offering you learning to respect your inner rhythm in a world that constantly wants you to be faster, more decisive, and easier to control. You do not prove intelligence by reacting quickly. You prove maturity by knowing when to wait and when to move. If these words touch you, leave a small sign in the comments. You don't need to explain your story, just a quiet confirmation that you are allowing yourself to slow down, that you are no longer being pulled by other people's urgency. Because when Sagittarius stands firmly in your own rhythm, no one can push you onto a path that isn't yours. And something even more important happens when you begin to clearly see the role each person plays in your story. You no longer feel angry. You no longer feel the need to react. You no longer feel the need to prove who is right or wrong. You simply step into a higher position where every trap becomes too obvious to have any power over you. And in the next part, I will speak about the deeper reason Sagittarius is so often tested through betrayal and trust. Because once you understand that, you will no longer see these experiences as losses, but as signs that you are moving very close to a far more liberated version of yourself. There is a quiet truth that only Sagittarius, who have traveled far enough in life, eventually come to understand. Not everyone is tested through betrayal, but Sagittarius almost always is, at least once, often more than once. Not because you are weak, not because you are unlucky, but because the soul of Sagittarius is built on faith. And when someone lives by faith, and the universe tests whether that faith is strong enough to stand in a world that does not always operate on truth, Sagittarius is born to believe in goodness, to move toward truth, to believe that people can live with integrity, without constant calculation. You carry the hope that life has meaning, that truth will eventually be seen, that justice is not abstract, but something real, something reachable. And because of this, you enter relationships with an open heart. You believe that, if you live honestly, the world will respond with honesty. If you don't hide, others won't feel the need to hide either. If you have no ill intent, the person in front of you won't need defenses. It is a beautiful ideal, and it is also the ideal that places Sagittarius in very specific tests. I have met many Sagittarius who carry a quiet question inside. Why am I always the one betrayed? Why do I discover the truth so late? Why are the people I trust the ones who hurt me the deepest? And each time, Sagittarius stands at a fragile crossroads. Either you close your heart and become suspicious, or you continue to believe, but with deeper understanding. And I want to say this very clearly. The lesson of Sagittarius was never to become cold or cynical. Your lesson is wisdom that protects your innocence. Sagittarius is the torchbearer, and light never passes through darkness without being tested. Light exposes hidden corners. It makes dishonesty uncomfortable, and because of that, not everyone feels safe standing near your light. Some people see parts of themselves they are not ready to face, and instead of changing, they try to extinguish the light through betrayal, through double talk, through actions that betray the trust you placed in them. This is not your fault. It is a very human reaction to truth and illumination. Sagittarius was not born to doubt people. You were born to illuminate them, to show that there is another way to live, a way without manipulation, without hiding, without harming others, just to protect oneself. But to do that, without harming yourself, you must learn the difference between faith and naivete. Faith is choosing to live truthfully with yourself. Naivete is giving full access to your inner world to those who have not yet proven they are safe there. This is a boundary many Sagittarius learn very late, after enough disappointment, after enough wondering why you were chosen to carry these lessons. But if you look deeper, you will see this. Each time you are betrayed, you do not lose anything essential. You lose an illusion, an image that no longer fits who you are becoming. And each time, your light becomes purer, less naive, but never extinguished. Remember this: not everyone who betrays you is evil. Many simply lack the maturity to live alongside the truth you carry. And when you understand that, bitterness dissolves, the desire for revenge fades. You quietly withdraw your energy and continue forward. That is how Sagittarius matures, not by closing down, but by becoming clear. And if, as you listen, a familiar, old sadness rises in your chest, allow it to be there for a moment. That sadness is not weakness. It is the mark of a heart that once believed deeply, and there is nothing shameful about that. Let me ask you something very honest. Recently, have you been hurt simply because you were too kind, too trusting, hoping that this time would be different? If so, know this: you are not alone. Many Sagittarius are walking through the same lesson right now. And the good news is, Sagittarius does not step into December 16th alone. Protective energy is very close. You are being guided to see more clearly, to move more slowly, to choose more carefully, not to close your heart, but to protect it wisely. In the next part, I will speak about the subtle signs that show how the universe is standing beside you, shielding you during this phase. Because once you understand that, you will no longer fear these tests. You will see them as doors leading you toward a version of yourself that is freer, stronger, and far more at peace. There is a very special moment that only Sagittarius who truly listen to themselves ever recognize. It is the moment when you stop trying to understand everything with logic and begin to feel the world from a deeper layer, a layer that is very quiet, very still, a place with no noise, no arguments, no need for proof, only a feeling, so soft, so fragile, yet strangely persistent. That is the moment your protective energy begins to speak. Jupiter, the ruling planet of Sagittarius, does not work through urgency. It does not force. It does not push you. into immediate action. Jupiter expands your awareness by sharpening your intuition, making it clearer, more refined, and deeper. In these days, you may have experienced unusual dreams, not nightmares, not beautiful dreams either, just dreams that leave you waking up with a feeling you cannot quite name, or you may feel a subtle unease around someone, even though they have done nothing wrong, even though their words sound reasonable, even though everything looks fine on the surface. I want you to know this clearly. That is not imagination. That is not unnecessary worry. That is Sagittarius intuition, doing exactly what it is meant to do. Sagittarius intuition is not loud. It does not shout. It does not scare you. It whispers, very softly, but it is always right. And the hardest part for Sagittarius is not hearing that whisper. It is trusting it enough to stop, trusting it enough not to explain, trusting it enough not to force everything to make sense. In truth, you do not need to understand why a feeling appears. You only need to respect it, because intuition does not come from fear. It comes from deep wisdom. Wisdom accumulated through many experiences, many wounds, many moments you once passed through without stopping. This time, the universe is not asking you to fight. It is not asking you to confront. It is not asking you to prove anything at all. The greatest human lesson of this phase is learning to trust your inner sensations and allowing yourself to be silent. Silence is not avoidance. Silence is when you no longer let others decide your inner rhythm. Silence is when you do not need to react immediately. You do not need to answer right away. You do not need to explain yourself. Silence, at times, is the highest form of self-protection, because when you are silent, your energy is not pulled away. Your emotions are not manipulated. Your decisions are not shaped by outside pressure. I have seen many Sagittarius believe they must speak up, clarify, explain, prove they are right, and in doing so, they unknowingly place themselves in deeper danger, because not everyone wants to understand the truth. Some people only want you to react, so they can gain more control in the situation. Remember this sentence carefully. You do not need to prove you are right. You only need to be safe. Safe emotionally, safe mentally, safe within your own energetic space. If a relationship constantly makes you feel alert, overthinking, questioning whether you are overreacting, that alone is already a sign. No further evidence is required. And here is the beautiful part. When Sagittarius begins to trust intuition, you do not become cold. You become gentle, but far more grounded. You begin to choose carefully. You begin to create distance naturally, not by cutting people off, not by hurting anyone, simply by no longer allowing everyone to step deeply into your inner space as before. And this very subtle shift is what makes the trap lose its power, because no trap can function when you stop walking into it. If you are listening right now and feel your heart grow quiet for a moment, allow yourself to stay with that feeling for a few seconds, because it may be the first time in a long while you are truly allowing yourself to trust yourself without asking permission, without needing reasons, without seeking anyone else's approval. And if these words reflect something real from your recent experiences, leave a small sign in the comments, only to confirm to yourself that you notice the unease, that you did not ignore it, that you are willing to listen. Because when Sagittarius chooses awareness, you do not need to confront, you do not need to expose, you simply take one step back and observe. And in that moment, everything becomes clear. Who respects your boundaries, who tries to cross them, who truly cares about your safety, and who only cares about getting what they want. When you see this clearly, you will understand why I say you are not walking through this alone. Protective energy is very close, guiding you through signs that are soft, ordinary, and easy to miss. If your inner world is too loud, and when you become quiet enough to notice, you will see this. The universe is not placing you in danger. It is teaching you how to walk more safely in a world that does not always operate on truth. This is the moment Sagittarius begins to reclaim control, not through force, but through deep inner clarity. And when Sagittarius chooses awareness, your story enters a completely new chapter, one where old traps no longer exist, one where you are no longer the one being tested, but the one who observes, chooses, and moves forward with a calm, steady peace that belongs entirely to you. After the trap reveals itself, after you pause long enough to stop moving forward on instinct alone, a very quiet, very real shift begins to take place inside Sagittarius. It is not anger. It is not the desire for revenge. It is something else entirely. A lightness, as if an invisible weight has gently been lifted from your chest. You realize you no longer need to do anything more. You don't need to say more. You don't need to explain. You don't need to prove anything. Because once you see clearly, all reaction becomes unnecessary. Sagittarius does not choose revenge, not because you are weak, but because you understand something deeply. There are lessons that are not yours to teach. You were not born to be a judge. You were born to keep walking forward. And when you choose to walk higher, you allow life itself to handle the rest. I have seen many Sagittarius reach this exact moment, standing before a familiar choice, to turn back and confront, to demand answers, to make things clear, or to leave quietly, not out of fear, but out of understanding. And every time Sagittarius chooses to leave, from awareness, rather than from pain, you enter a very different kind of freedom. Freedom from the need to be understood. Freedom from the desire to be validated. Freedom from trying to make others see that they were wrong. This is a profound level of maturity, and not everyone has the courage to walk through it, because human instinct wants vindication. It wants recognition. It wants to see the other person regret their actions. But when Sagittarius becomes deep enough, you realize this truth. No recognition from the outside is more important than peace on the inside. And that is why you do not need to lower yourself to teach anyone a lesson. Life will do that for you, precisely, fairly, and in the way each soul understands best. You do not need to witness it. You do not need to wait for it. Because your journey does not end there. You still have farther to go. You still have deeper truth to live. You still have light to bring to places that are truly worthy of it. When Sagittarius moves beyond this trap, you do not become cold. You become deeper. You do not lose faith. You simply place your faith where it belongs. And this subtle shift creates a powerful ripple in the world. Because when someone like Sagittarius chooses to live honestly, without being naive, chooses kindness, without self-betrayal, you become a quiet example of humanity. People around you begin to see that it is possible to live with integrity, without being used, to hold ethics, without becoming a victim, to walk forward with your head held high, without stepping on anyone else, and sometimes, without even realizing it, by choosing silence, by withdrawing gently, by continuing to live well, you force others to look at themselves, to face the parts they avoided, to ask why they lost someone like you. That is the quiet power of Sagittarius. A power that does not perform, does not announce itself, yet leaves a lasting mark. There are victories that need no applause, no public acknowledgement, no apology spoken aloud, yet they change your destiny completely. Because from that moment on, you no longer enter the same relationships. You no longer repeat the same cycles. You no longer place yourself into unnecessary trials. You begin to attract new people, new opportunities, connections built on clarity and respect. And many Sagittarius only realize this later, looking back, seeing that the trap that once caused so much pain was actually a door closing one chapter so another could open, a chapter of far greater freedom. I want you to ask yourself one honest question. When you face situations like this, do you usually choose to walk away or to confront? There is no right answer for everyone. There is only the answer That comes from a calm place inside you, because when you choose from awareness, every decision becomes right. And the most important thing I want you to carry into the next part is this: when Sagittarius is no longer pulled into unnecessary battles, you begin to see something very clearly. The trap was never the most frightening thing. What truly matters is what is waiting for you on the other side when you are brave enough to walk through it. And that is what I will speak about next. Because once you understand the true gift hidden inside this trial, you will no longer look back with sadness, but with deep gratitude for the version of yourself who was strong enough to protect your light, even while standing in the dark. December 16th does not arrive to harm you, and if you are still listening at this moment, I want you to allow yourself to believe that, not through blind faith, but through the clarity you have earned by walking through everything you just faced. This day comes with a quiet question, simple, yet profound. Have you become aware enough to protect yourself, not through rigid defense, not through suspicion of everything around you, but through the ability to listen to yourself and to choose from the calmest place in your heart? When you have seen the trap, when you have paused at the moment you needed to pause, when you no longer react from old habits, then regardless of how things look on the outside, you have already won, because you did not lose yourself in the process. And that is the most important thing Sagittarius must preserve on every journey, not victory over others, but the preservation of your own light in the most difficult moments. If you are Sagittarius and you feel ready to walk past every trap, not with force, but with wisdom and inner illumination, leave a gentle, honest confirmation below. I am aware, I am guided, I am safe. Not to prove anything to anyone, but to remind yourself that you are no longer moving unconsciously. You are being guided by something far deeper within you. And if this video touched you, if at any moment your heart grew quiet for a breath, if you felt seen, if you felt understood, allow yourself to share that energy, not for me, but because out there, many Sagittarius are still blaming themselves for trusting too much, for being too kind, for believing the fault was theirs, when the truth is, they were simply living true to their nature, and they deserve to be reminded that is not weakness, it is a rare gift. Before you go, I want to open a small door into the next chapter, because this story does not end here. In the next video, I will speak about what happens to those who tried to manipulate Sagittarius, not so you can feel satisfaction, not to feed resentment, but so you can understand more deeply how the universe truly works, how justice moves quietly, precisely, and without announcement. When you understand this, you will no longer wait for consequences. You will no longer care about who wins or loses. You will simply keep walking with a freedom that is real. Because when Sagittarius becomes aware, when you protect yourself, when you preserve your light, no trap has the power to hold you anymore. And I believe this. If you are hearing these words at exactly this moment, it is not random. It is because you are ready to step into a new chapter, one where you no longer live in constant alert, but live lighter, truer, and more peacefully as who you really are.